Queen Rania of Jordan gives a live interview on CNN International. And what a disaster! Crown Princess Mary of Denmark attends a conference in North Carolina. And Princess Elisabeth of Belgium, Duchess of Brabant, celebrates her 22nd birthday. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to your Royal Daily News for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. So let's start off the show with some good news, shall we? In Brussels, Her Royal Highness Princess Elisabeth of Belgium, Duchess of Brabant, is celebrating her 22nd birthday. Born in Anderlecht on October 25th, 2001, the princess is the eldest child of Their Majesties King Felipe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians. In 2020, the princess received her International Baccalaureate from the UWC Atlantic College in Wales. The princess, who is fluent in Dutch, French, German, and English, is currently a student at Lincoln College at Oxford University in Oxford, England, majoring in history and politics. She will graduate next year. In July 2023, Princess Elisabeth finished her year in, quote, Social and Military Sciences at the Royal Military Academy in Belgium, end quote. Meanwhile, His Majesty King Felipe of the Belgians held an audience this morning with the Vice President of the European Commission for Values and Transparency, Ms. Vera Jourova, at the Palais Royal de Bruxelles. In Grevenmacher, His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg, accompanied by the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Mr. Xavier Bettel, attended the 75th anniversary celebrations of the independent newspaper Luxembourg Journal, held at the Culture House on Tuesday. During the celebration, the Grand Duke and the Prime Minister viewed a temporary exhibition about the history of the newspaper entitled The Luxembourger Journal, From Print to Digital. The Grand Duke and the Prime Minister also viewed the permanent exhibition entitled Gutenberg Revisited. The exhibition showcases, quote, the evolution of printing from the 3rd millennium BC to the present day, end quote. In Madrid, His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain presided over the presentation of the 9th edition of the Premio Enrique Iglesias al Desarrollo del Espacio Empresarial Iberoamericano a Palacio de la Zarzuela. The winner of the award went to Mexican businessman, billionaire, and philanthropist, Mr. Carlos Slim Elu. According to the Spanish Royal Court, Mr. Elu received the award for his contribution to, quote, business growth, job creation, and reapproachment between countries of the Ibero-American community, end quote. On the occasion of the year-long celebrations of the centenary of the birth of Prince Rania III, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco and Her Serene Highness Princess Stephanie of Monaco sat down for an interview with French journalist Mr. Emmanuel Siroud for the magazine Point de Vue. The interview, which took place inside the family room at the Palais Princier in Monacoville, is now available online. In Oslo, the Norwegian Royal Court issued an update regarding the health status of His Majesty King Harald V of Norway. As you may know by now, the King was diagnosed with COVID-19 on Sunday, October 22nd, and is on sick leave until he is symptom-free. Today, the King is, quote, recovering well, but will be on sick leave for the rest of the week, end quote. The annual gala dinner for members of Parliament, which will take place this Thursday, October 26th, will be held as planned. Her Majesty Queen Sonja of Norway, the Royal Highnesses Crown Prince Haakon and Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway, and Her Highness Princess Astrid Mrs. Berner will be in attendance. On Tuesday, in New York City, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Mary of Denmark, as patron, participated in a breakfast meeting with the Executive Director of the United Nations Children's Fund, Ms. Catherine Russell, and several UN ambassadors. The discussions during the meeting focused on, quote, international work in education and climate, end quote. In the afternoon, the Crown Princess gave the opening speech during a roundtable discussion on the future of multilateralism on the occasion of UN Day. The day ended with the Crown Princess as patron of the United Nations Population Fund holding a meeting with the Executive Director of the United Nations Population Fund. During the meeting, discussions focused on the rights of women and girls, as well as the upcoming 30th anniversary of the International Conference on Population and Development, which will take place sometime in 2024. This morning, the Crown Princess, accompanied by representatives of the Mary Foundation, participated in Day 1 of the 2023 World Anti-Bullying Forum in Raleigh, North Carolina. According to a press release, the three-day forum is a meeting place for researchers, policymakers, and practitioners in the work against bullying. Quote, "The aims of the World Anti-Bullying Forum are to address and prevent bullying and other forms of violence among children in accordance with the Convention on the Rights of a Child and Agenda 2030, to facilitate the sharing of knowledge and best practices among researchers, policymakers, and practitioners on preventing bullying among children, and to gather, coordinate, and make research-based knowledge on preventing bullying among children easily accessible globally and digitally." End quote. And finally, last evening, oh boy, Her Majesty Queen Rania of Jordan sat down for a live interview with highly respected CNN international journalist Ms. Christiane Amanpour to discuss the war in Gaza and the, quote, "humanitarian crisis unfolding in her region," end quote. In the interview, the Queen, who is of Palestinian descent, had a lot to say, including, quote, "the Arab world's shock and disappointment at the world's glaring double standard and deafening silence in the face of Israel's ongoing war on the Gaza Strip," end quote. The Queen also emphasized that, quote, "despite the prevalent Western media narrative, this conflict did not begin on October 7th," end quote. This is the first time the Queen has been seen in public since her visit to Ireland earlier this month, where she spoke about the late, great King Hussein of Jordan. The interview is also the first time the Queen has spoken with a journalist after her infamous Instagram post in which she wrote, quote, "It isn't self-defense if you are an occupying force," end quote. Several hours later, sensing that an immense backlash was about to hit her diamond-encrusted fan, the Queen deleted her Instagram post, went dark, and changed her profile from a smiling, happy queen to a giant black dot. When asked about the now infamous post, the Queen, who became quite defensive at this point in the interview, said, quote, "It's not about me. It's about speaking up for humanity," end quote. Some people have praised her interview as being brave and thought-provoking, while others have called her interview a complete disaster. They have called the Queen a hypocrite and a bunch of other colorful names. Well, that's a bum way to end the episode, huh? Oh, my goodness gracious. I have to tell you, I almost didn't do this segment just because it's just too controversial. And I'm speechless, you know. That interview, I just... Gosh. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow with all the latest royal news. Until then, I wish you all a wonderful and happy afternoon, evening, wherever you are in this world. But remember one thing, always be kind, always be compassionate, always be loving towards those who are different from you. Be kind and compassionate towards those who have a different religious faith than you. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox now. Bye-bye.